Hello, Upper Darby. I want to thank Vince again for having me and continuing this series. There's been a lot of great stuff since we last connected, so I'm hoping that we can get into some good stuff, and hopefully you learned something today.
Yeah, and if you can see right now, if you're watching this, for the graphic on the right side of your screen, this is where we're going to start today. So, COVID vaccinations, right, and testing. So, when, where, how to do that, what the scoop is in Upper Darby. There's been a lot of um, misunderstanding. Hafiz has been noticing with residents, with different online things. Not everyone is tech savvy. So, Hafiz, if you could just dive into the best way for people to get both vaccinated and just COVID tests in general still. Right now, you can see on the screen, it's the Mercy Fitzgerald drive-through COVID testing graphic.
Yeah, so Delaware County Council has stepped in. They developed a weekly COVID testing site at Mercy Fitzgerald in Darby, Pennsylvania. It's not too far from residents in the 7th, as well as Upper Darby Township. You must pre-register. The way it works is you just drive up. They give you the COVID test. You're in and out. It usually takes 5 minutes. You get your results between 24 and 72 hours. And then
Mm.
that should be good for you, as well as the moving towards the vaccination.
Yep.
That's something that and I'm going to give Vince a second to get that on the screen. But that's
Yep.
something that we we just generally are rolling out. As you know, the federal and state government has rolled out the vaccinations to local and to county governments, and they're trying to see how they can disperse it. Currently, there's a hotline that they have, and they also have a website. You can go on delcopa.gov and just you go in the search bar and type in COVID vaccinations. They give you a questionnaire survey based on your history, your medical history, or if you're working in one of those fields that are we're in the first group to get vaccinated. Essentially, the way it works is you fill out the questionnaire, and based on your answers, is where they place you on the list. Um, Based on availability, is where they reach out to people that can get vaccinated on the list. I encourage those that feel as though that they will be in the first couple of groups to get vaccinated to use this resource, or those that feel as though they want to take the vaccine just to be added to the list. Uh, we understand that everyone's a little bit skeptical on things like this, but trust and believe this has been very helpful to many residents in Upper Darby Township as well as Delaware County.
Right. And speaking of the residents, have you heard any of their comments on, I guess, how this process has been? And this is speaking of both the testing and now the vaccinating, because this is with the testing, it seems like there could be a little bit of a internet online gap, between people who aren't
Yeah,
necessarily tech savvy. So with that, and then there's also with the with the call center with the vaccinations, that seems like it's a little bit more accessible. It's just a number. So what have you been hearing from residents?
yeah. So in Upper Darby, especially in the 7th, is like you said, a lot of confusion, especially with our residents and the older populations that didn't grow up on the internet like you and I may have.
Yep.
Um, they they tend to be a little bit turned off with the whole going online and registering. That's why the county did make these hotlines available, as well as our state reps right here in Upper Darby. State Rep Mike Zabel that serves Drexel and Havertown, Alden, Clifton Heights, and as
Mm-hmm.
well as State Rep Margot Davidson that serves Upper Darby, East Lansdowne, Lansdowne, Milborn, and Yaden. They've
Yep.
used they utilize their staff to help residents that may not feel comfortable going on the internet or may not want to be on the hotline. They may just want to get it signed up. So use your state offices as well as State Senator Tim Kearney's office to get those things if you don't feel as comfortable. And like I said, residents just want to be guided. This is something that's new to everyone. So and that's why you and I are here giving out that information so people know.
Right. And really quick, going back with the we'll get to that one. With the testing. So is this free still? Because this has been going on for a little bit, but you have to register
Yeah.
for this COVID testing online, and it's free for anybody who needs it.
Yeah, and it's the one of the things that are the primary thing is you have to be a Delaware County resident or you have to work in Delaware County.
Okay.
So that's just the main thing. And if you live outside of Delaware County, there's also resources in most counties in Pennsylvania, as well as Philadelphia.
Right.
So yeah, you must be a resident or someone that works in Delaware County.
Okay. And then the vaccination call center. This is what we're looking at on the screen now. That number, you call that if you're interested, correct? And then you're going to be guided further from there.
Yeah, so they're just going to give you a questionnaire over the phone and then guide you through, let you know what's the next steps forward. I don't currently know the list number or who's up or how many people are available. I don't think I have access to that, but what I would say is if you call, they should be able to answer any of your questions. And if you are tech savvy, you can just go to delcopa.gov.
Right. All right. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So we've had people have been a little confused, so that's why we wanted to come on here and say this. So once again, this is the number on your screen right now. If you're interested in that vaccination, call Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, and the testing has still been going on as usual. But we can move on to the next kind of piece of topic here. But it came after the snowstorm that just hit our area, the whole northeastern country, really. But it has to do with how to get handicap signs for your car. You've noticed a lot of people reaching out, wondering about this. So, what is it with these, and how can people, get their hands on these?
Yeah, so a big thing, especially with the recent snowstorm, is I've been getting a lot of call with residents of like how they can get the handicap placard, which is kind of like that sign that hangs from your rear view mirror kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it's free. The way you can get that placard is that you have to apply for it through PennDOT, and that's free. You can go through your state rep's office, either State Rep Mike Zabel or Rep Davidson. The biggest thing I've been hearing about is the disability plate, like the license plate. And the reason why people have been asking about the license plate is because they want to get a sign in front of their house, so they can just, if they're handicapped, they just want to be able to park in front of their house. Well, in Upper Darby, for you to get that sign, you need the plate. So the plate is So the application for the plate, it's called MV 145 from PennDOT. You can find it online or any of your state offices. It's an $11 fee. You apply for that. Once you get that in the mail, then you can call your council person. If I'm your council person, you just contact me, or you figure out your council person, and they reach out to the community police officers. They come out to make sure the spot's feasible for a handicap parking spot, and then they put the sign up. Weather pending, for example, in the snow, they can't put the sign up, or the rain. So that's essentially a process that a lot of residents in the public have been calling about, like, how do I get this handicap sign? One thing I do want to let residents know, once you get that handicap sign, it doesn't just belong to you. Okay, so anybody that is handicapped on your street can park there. However, you can get the handicap sign.
Okay, and I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, but when you apply for this on PennDOT, how long should people expect that to come in the mail or for it to happen? Because it could potentially not even be winter anymore.
Yeah. So if you go through your state rep's office, which I highly encourage, you can track it. It generally takes 2 weeks. Yeah, it generally takes 2 weeks. Outside of your state rep's office, I know it could take like 2 to 4 weeks, but my best encouragement is to go through your state rep's office. They'll mail it out for you, or get it to Harrisburg for you. Save money on postage, and they'll also notarize it for you if you need it to be notarized.
There you go. So now you'll have a legal way to save your spot out front, not by putting chairs or whatever thing. It's funny because we were talking, you and I were talking how I just saw on Facebook how one of the townships in Delaware County, they were charging $1,000 if people were trying to save their chair, and of course it blows up on like the Delco one of the groups, but they're saying you spend 20 minutes shoveling your driveway, and then all of a sudden someone can pull right into that. So but you said Upper Darby's not necessarily enforcing it, but at the same time, you are, encouraging people to have this legal way to do it, which is through the handicap
Yeah,
sign.
I mean, yeah, if you're handicapped, and we're also encouraging people just to be great neighbors. Like,
Yeah,
communicate with your neighbor. I don't know, like if you guys usually park in that spot, y'all can have the communication about it, and you generally know everyone on most people on your street.
right.
So we just hope that people will be good neighbors and they wouldn't just tend to go that route. And I can tell you though, based on the last film, we haven't had in the seventh any issues regarding parking spots, fights, or anything along those lines.
All right, that's good. So that'll wrap up the snow handicap parking little section there. So now we got through the COVID vaccinations and testing, to the handicap parking, saving the spot in the snow. Now to a really fun part of the show that I'm excited to get into today. Little piece of history coming right to Upper Darby, and this thing was in Upper Darby, the Underground Railroad walking tour. You can see the graphic on the screen now. Growing up, I would always kind of knew that on Garrett Road across from Playhouse Lanes that, because of the sign up there, the blue and with the yellow writing sign of Thomas Garrett, how he was a famous abolitionist back in the day.
Yeah.
I always kind of knew it was a little, it was around here, but the Underground Railroad, there was, 7 historic stops here in Upper Darby from the Underground Railroad. So can you talk to me about this tour, what people could expect, when it's going on, and
Yeah, so last night in our council meeting, Mayor Keffer put out a proclamation for Black History Month, and her administration has started this kind of like social media hashtag, fun way to interact with the community and also give them a historic aspect to Upper Darby. So Upper Darby was a big part of the Underground Railroad, and this Underground Railroad walking tour it's about 4.5 miles. It should take you about an hour and a half to get through it. It takes you through the historical walk through all these landmarks. You go from Garrett House to French Cemetery. So it's quite a route. It's a historic part of Upper Darby, and it's something that a lot of residents of Upper Darby aren't really aware of. And February being Black History Month, I think this is a very appropriate, and it's a great activity, especially for our young people in Upper Darby trying to learn a little bit more history about where we're from. With COVID, it's hard because I really wish a lot of the youth groups could be able to come out. But I think this would be a great event for like families or young people who just want to walk your dog. You know what I mean? Through this, I think it'll be a great thing to see. And if you take photos and you hashtag UD walk, and you take a photo and you share it, get that on social media. I think that would be a great way for the public to get involved.
Nice. So yeah, bring the walking shoes, an hour and a half walk, but it's going to be worth it for you historically, especially the history buffs that I know are around us. But is there going to be someone kind of leading the charge, and are they like some type of historian? Is it like, how's that going to work?
Well, so this is really designed for people. I mean, with COVID and stuff, it's designed for residents to walk themselves through and kind of see. A lot of these places have landmarks of like little history about history on it. So it's really encouraged. It's if it wasn't COVID and a pandemic, we would have probably done this a lot differently.
And like groups and times and
so this is probably the most feasible with the times we're in, and I think that's what the administration really wanted. And as a council member, I'm really happy that we got the opportunity to do this. And just to piggyback on that, the Upper Darby Township Council, which also is on Facebook, is also highlighting African American women every day this month on their social media. So that's those are some things the township's doing for Black History Month, and we'll be giving it some awards later this month for like local Black leaders in our community, or local leaders that have had an impact on the Black community of Upper Darby. So those are just some things to look out for.
Yeah, and that's Upper Darby Township Government on social media too, if you guys want to follow them. But is there certain ats for because I know Facebook would just be Upper Darby Township Government. Maybe Twitter they hyphenize it, but I'm sure if you just type in Upper Darby Township Government, it comes up.
Yeah, so it's Upper Darby Township Government, and then we have Upper Darby Township Council, which has their separate Facebook, which is that's designed. The Upper Darby Township Government is the administration's social media, and the council is the council's Facebook represents everything that the Upper Darby Council has going on.
Well, there you go. Underground Railroad walking tour. That's how we're going to end this show. We started with the COVID tests and vaccinations. Got into the handicap parking. How to do it the right way in a snowstorm. If you want to spend a bunch of time taking your car out, have a spot saved, and then now the Underground Railroad walking tour, which people are encouraged to do themselves. So I appreciate you, Hafiz. Episode 2. We will be, here every other Friday, so make sure to keep an eye out for us. But that's going to be it for today's episode. Thank you all for watching. Have a good rest of your day.
All right. Have a great day, Upper Darby.